Hello guys, welcome back to the D&N Medical series. In today's tutorial video, we're going to continue our lecture on cell injuries. Alright, so in the previous video, we looked on cell injuries, the adaptive response, the types of injuries in terms of the reversibility or irreversibility of these cellular injuries. Alright, so now we're going to continue and we're going to look on what are the causes of cell injury. So there are basically 7 major causes of cellular injury, and I've used the mnemonic pig chin to remember it ever since I was studying this part of the course. Alright, so P is physical injuries, I immunological injuries, G for genetics or genetical injuries, C for chemical injuries, H for hypoxia, and I for infections, and lastly N for nutritional causes of cellular injuries. Alright, so I hope this mnemonic is also useful for you, and now we're going to look on each of these causes separately. Okay? Alright, so the first cause of injury that we will look on is physical injuries. So physical injuries include mechanical trauma, electric shock, maybe radiation, and extremes of temperature or any external environment condition. So these injuries are usually direct injuries in most cases. So you have an external force or condition, as I've said before, that is causing damage to the cell. All right, but also if you have a crush injury or a physical injury, then it can affect your blood supply, right? And the loss of blood supply may cause hypoxia. Also, in cases of radiation, free radicals may be generated, and these free radicals can also cause cell injury. All right, so it may be direct or it may be indirect causes for this type of injury. So the next cause of cell injury that we'll look on is your immunological causes. So the body's immune system, it is designed to basically defend the body or protect the body against external agents such as your viruses, your bacteria, your fungi, your parasites. But in certain cases, your body can attack its own cells or its own tissues and organs, and in this case you will have autoimmune diseases. So the body's own response to its cells can cause damage via lymphocytes or by the products that it forms. So the antibodies, or the chemical mediators that are produced during these immunological responses can cause cell injury. So the next one is your genetical causes of cellular injury. So genetics, as it suggests, it occurs in one or more genes and it may be inherited or acquired. Now there can be problems with enzyme or your degradation enzymes, and so you have a build up of certain compounds because these are not being broken down, and this can lead to storage problem which can cause cellular damage. All right, next one is your receptors or your transport system. So ions such as sodium or potassium or chloride are needed for pH balancing. So there is always pumping in and out of these ions into our system. Now, if we have a defect in the transport of certain ions, there can be a buildup, and in this case, chloride ions can cause cystic fibrosis. All right, so non-enzymatic protein such as your hemoglobin, all right, defects in this can cause problems in sickle cell, and this can lead to cell damage as well. So C is for chemical injuries. Now chemical injuries may be induced by compounds such as poisons, your pollutants, your drugs such as narcotic drugs, as well as alcohol. Now all of these can induce cellular injury, but substances such as glucose and salt, like normal substances, if they're in too much of a high concentration, then these can also change the osmotic environment and cause cellular injuries. All right, so there are two major mechanisms for chemical injuries. The first is your direct injury. So compounds such as mercury, or elements I should say, they combine with other drugs and they can cause damage to your cellular organelles. Right? The next one is your injury after modification. So these are injuries after these substances are converted to your free radicals, right? And these free radicals then induce chemical damages. All right, so there are three major free radicals that are involved. You have your superoxides, your hydrogen peroxides, and your hydroxyl radicals. It should also be noted that free radicals may be produced from inflammation, chemical toxicity, ionizing radiation, or reperfusion injury, especially after ischemia. So the next thing that we're going to look on is our hypoxia. Now, hypo means that there is a deficiency in oxygen. All right, and this may be caused by many different things. So the first thing that may cause oxygen deficiency is the loss of blood supply, and this is termed ischemia. And this occurs if there is like blockage in a blood vessel. Next one is the loss of oxygen carrying capacity. So there's problem with your hemoglobin, and this is seen in anemia. And the last thing is if there's inadequate oxygenation of the blood. So you have respiratory problems, there's respiratory failure, there is no oxygen entering the body to be transported, and so there is no oxygenation. So the next thing that we're going to look on is our infectious agents. And our infectious agents are like our viruses, bacteria, fungus, and parasites, which cause many different diseases, and it can do this via cellular injuries. And the last thing that we're going to look on is our nutritional causes of cellular injury. So nutritional causes, there is some deficiency in your proteins, in your vitamins, in your minerals, right? Especially your essential nutrients. However, an excess of nutrients can also cause cellular damage, right? And cause cell injury. And this is especially true for an excess in lipids. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you in part 3. All right, take care. Bye bye.